Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Switch Statement Podcast. It's a podcast for investigations into miscellaneous tech topics.
This is our 12th episode on Elon Musk by Walter Isaacson. We'd love to hear from you. Send your comments and feedback to team@thkp.co.
Hey, John. What's going on?
Hey, Matt, I'm doing really well. How are you doing?
I am doing okay. I had a really fantastic intro, but I forgot. The woke mind virus got it. So.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I'm so plagued by that woke mind virus.
There's something that really bugs me about the way he types it out. It's woke-mind space virus, which, like, I thought it was woke mind virus. You know, like, doesn't it seem like mind should be more closely associated with virus than woke?
Yes. Yeah. That also bothered me. I feel like Isaacson is like patronizing me sometimes in his writing. Like, Did you see the part where he was explaining what 1337 meant? And
you know, he's got to deal with the fact that there's a lot of normies reading this book. So I don't begrudge him that.
As a non-normie, I felt attacked because he was like, if you're not a total nerd, then let me describe what this means.
That's funny. But that's actually I'm teasing the next chapter because I don't even think they talk about this in the 5 chapters that we're gonna go over today. But but Inspiration 4, what is that?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, this businessman. So I guess this comes right off the heels of Bezos and what's the Virgin guy's name?
Richard
Branson. Yeah, so they were, all these billionaire douchebags are like flying into space, and this is coming right off the heels of that. But this is an interesting case because this is another billionaire paying Musk for the privilege of going into space. So this is more of like a space tourism thing. So this guy Isaacman is this billionaire, and he also had some sort of payment service, and he paid Musk to go into space, and he went higher than Branson or Bezos. He went 365 miles, and he orbited at 365 miles, which is just crazy to think about.
Dude, I kind of want to read a biography of Jared Isaacman. This dude seemed like he was doing some amazing things.
He was very interesting. I also loved that, like, there was a section in this chapter where they were talking about how there's a lot more debris at 365 miles. Yeah. And if you're in space and you get hit by a piece of debris, you're basically dead because the debris is going 10,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's like you get hit by a grain of sand and like your head doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly. And Isaacman was like, meh, it's all good. Let's do it anyway, which I thought was cool.
It's what the customer wants. The customer is always right, even when he wants to subject himself to a 1 in 2,000 chance that they just get pummeled by space dust.
I mean, it's the attitude that you have to have if you're doing stuff like that. Like, I'm always disappointed. It's like these people who climb Everest, but they basically have a Sherpa carrying them, and they have like a oxygen IV, pumped directly into their lungs. It's like, that's not how you climb Everest. Like, it should be painful. It should be like extremely difficult, and like you shouldn't have all these, helping hands. So I feel like Isaacman did it right. He took the risk and he did it right.
It is interesting, though, because, you could always have another, Challenger disaster, and then you just kill civilian spaceflight for another, 40 years or whatever it is.
Yeah, no, that's true. But alas, I think Challenger was a very sad event, but I'm glad that they took the risk in this case, because I do think stuff like this pushes us forward. When you are taking the risk and succeeding and showing people that it can be done, you're pushing us forward. And I appreciate that.
You're expanding the domain of human possibility. And I think
exactly.
I think it's great. Yeah, I mean,
just so long as.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, so long as you have Grimes as Spellmaster, you'll be okay.
I think that's why they succeeded. There was some bad energy, bad juju around civilian spaceflight that she cured. You know,
She cured evidently. I mean, she was like Encanting in the background, and Isaacman was okay.
I mean, there's probably a checklist somewhere in SpaceX. You know, you got to make sure you have your designated good luck charm, your Spellmaster. But what I was going to say is, you know, Isaac Mann kind of alludes to this. It's like if we're going to go to Mars, you got to get outside of your comfort zone. And then I think, you know, if we're thinking about the domain of human possibility, it's like anytime you're pushing up against that, by its very nature, you're going to be getting outside of your comfort zone. So,
Hell yeah, I'm very into that mindset.
I thought there was a hilarious point in this where they were talking about having some like cage match, like a zero gravity cage match.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
remember this section?
Yeah, and they're like, let's just wait till it's more pedestrian to like fly into space before we do this.
Yeah, they were offered $500 million apparently, and someone says we would lose that in reputation if we if we allow, which really struck me. That stood out to me because it's like it just feels so much like these big companies seem wholly unconcerned about their reputation because they're just doing things that like fuck over the little guy, and it just never amounts to anything.
Yeah.
But it is funny that they do care that much about their image.
I think it's time. You know, Trump is president. The radical left is the enemy. Like, let's do a cage match in space.
We've got to bring about idiocracy somehow, and I feel like that's
Yeah.
going to be a good step in that direction.
Our timeline's been accelerating. This just feels like the next logical step.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I did want to call out this Koenigman thing, or Koenigsman. So this is the guy who mentioned that when they were trying to launch, there was bad weather conditions, and they launched anyway. And this Koenigsman guy wrote like a postmortem basically, and you know, straight up said like, "Hey, we ignored." I can't remember who had given the warning, but basically they ignored this like strong warning from some government entity.
Yeah.
And ever since then, Musk had been pushing this Koenigsman guy out of SpaceX.
Yeah.
And Koenigsman was like one of the longest tenured members of SpaceX. So this is just yet another chapter in Musk's, you know, trail of tears that he's leaving behind. This was Koenigsman's last launch.
Yeah. And Musk could not have cared less about, that fact.
Yeah, he showed no emotion whatsoever. Grimes even had to remind him, like, hey, you know, this is Koenigsman's last launch. He's like your main lieutenant for 20 years. And Musk just did not give a shit. So,
And he got a nod. You know, that was all of the. But so we move on. We're still in SpaceX land, and they're working on their next gen engine. They're working on the Raptor.
the Raptor. Yeah. So I guess they're having 8 p.m. meetings every single night, Saturdays and Sundays. And all Musk talks about is stainless steel.
Yeah. No, everything. I don't know. There's a joke in the prior chapter that he wants to like make love to stainless steel.
Yeah. So he's still on his stainless steel thing. He wants the Raptor. He wants to be producing one Raptor engine per day. His ultimate dream, and this starts to get into the 1337 engine, but I guess his ultimate dream is to have $1,000 per ton of thrust, which I don't really know what that means exactly, but I'm guessing that's, very cheap.
Yeah.
And he taps this guy, this engineer named Mackenzie, to basically run this Raptor engine project. Making the Raptor engine more efficient, doing the whole Musk thing where you basically stop buying super expensive stuff. You decrease your, what is it, the idiot quotient or idiot index or something?
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah, so decreasing your idiot index, stop overpaying for plastic tubes. And Mackenzie's in charge of this. And Mackenzie is like a little surprised. He's like, I didn't even know Musk knew my name.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was apparently this kind of mid-level. He was a leader. He led a team, but he wasn't one of the like most senior members. And Musk starts to he's having these 8 p.m. group meetings as you indicated, but he feels like he can't really get a sense for who is the strongest member of this team, because they're kind of like I don't know, they can cover for one another or what have you. So
Yeah.
he starts having the one-on-one meetings, and this is how he finds this Jake McKenzie, and he picks him, I guess, to lead the initiative to, like, I guess, improve the Raptor engine.
Right. Yeah. He's looking for a Red Bull guy or a Spock guy.
Yeah,
I guess those are the two types of guys that Musk likes. You know, the Red Bull guys who come in and just shake things up, and the Spock guys who are like unperturbable, geniuses or whatever. And I
yeah.
guess
There's even
Mackenzie,
keel. Yeah,
yeah, even Gil. I feel like you're a Spock type. I've always found you as a Spock type.
that's what yeah, I definitely want to be more like the Spock type. But I
Yeah,
think it's good to have a Red Bull, like, charging. They're making. I wouldn't say you're more like. I would say of the two of us, if we had to pick which one of us is which, I guess I would be more
yeah,
of a Spock and you would be more of a Red Bull. But I think we're both closer to Spocks than Red Bulls.
yeah. I don't think either of us are like extremes on the spectrum. I do think I'm
Right.
definitely more Red Bull, but I feel like my Red Bull ness comes from me just being like scatterbrained. It's not, I wouldn't necessarily call it a positive quality, but
No,
maybe.
I couldn't disagree more. Because I feel like, I don't know, you're just like, let's do this thing. And I'm like, all right, just let me refactor this for like a year and I'll be ready to, I don't know. I remember like, there was this open source project, which was like, could teach you how to play the piano. And I literally, like, I wasn't adding any of my own features. I was literally just like refactoring. And you're like, why don't you, like, I don't know, try to do something? You're like, you're not actually having any effect.
This is why together we make the perfect team.
I think we do make a good team. And yeah. Anyway,
So
but
speaking
Jake
of,
McKenzie, best
yeah, speaking
best
of
team
perfect
leader.
team, yeah, Jake McKenzie, he calls on this Tesla guy because I guess, and this is really interesting to me. It's like Elon Musk is running both of these companies, but McKenzie ends up calling on this Tesla guy to come over and give him some wisdom in optimizing his factory or how they're making these Raptor engines. And this Tesla guy is just like laughing about all of these horribly inefficient things SpaceX is doing. So I guess this is kind of a good reason to be owning tons of companies because you're able to sort of share knowledge across them. And, Tesla gave them a lot of lessons in cost cutting and how to optimize, what they're purchasing and how to build stuff. And so this was a big boon for McKenzie.
Yeah. Um, there was one point I just wanted to make I had in the last section where, you talked about stainless steel. He keeps on challenging everyone to stop using these expensive, exotic, difficult to machine materials. Just make everything out of stainless steel. And he Musk made a point that it really resonated with me, which is like, you're spending months doing analysis when you could just build it in that time and determine whether or not
Yes.
it's going to work. And I don't know. I just always need to take that to heart, because you just need to do that initial evaluation, which is like, okay, how long is it going to take to build versus how long is it going to take to analyze? And am I even going to be able to, like, how confident am I going to be able to be with that analysis? Because there's always some
Yeah.
measure of, uncertainty in any analysis. So,
I am so glad you're bringing this up because I've come, I've had a pretty long career in software, and I've come to believe so hard in that philosophy. Sorry, that's just a weird way of saying that, but like I'm a strong believer in that philosophy of like minimal analysis and just start building,
yeah,
because you learn, not only do you not truly know if something is possible or not until you've like tried it, you just learn so much in the building process that a lot of times, I mean, I have seen projects where like the end result turns out just like utterly different from initial designs, like
right.
night and day. And, these were like carefully pieced together designs. Some engineers spent like 6 months like working on a design and consulting with other experts in the field or whatever. And this is at Google. So these are smart, people. And yet, and still, once the boots hit the ground and you're starting to implement something, you just change your mind on certain things. You realize that the reality is slightly different from theory, and you do things in a different way than you expected, and that's totally normal. So yeah, just a big fan of just building stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
And speaking of building stuff, 1337 engine, which, what the hell does that mean? What's 1337?
Yeah, who could know? It's this crazy coding language,
Yeah, but it means leet.
which is like elite, right? It's short for elite.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like
Which
ancient,
I don't even
ancient.
think that he doesn't even explain that in the book. He explains that it stands for elite, but he doesn't he doesn't apparently, or I don't know if he doesn't know, or he doesn't make that additional jump to being like, well then what the hell does elite mean? Like that's meaningless.
That is hilarious, actually. But yeah, I remember this 1337 back in my Counter-Strike days. And this is like OG Counter-Strike. So I'm dating myself a little bit. But anyway, Musk wants to build this 1337 engine. And this is where he wants to get $1,000 per ton of thrust.
Right.
And he basically tells his employees, like, you should entertain any insane possibility that you can think of, because he really wanted to, figure this engine out. But in typical Musk fashion, this thing basically became this like rallying cry for like 2 seconds, and then it sort of tapered off, and then they went right back to like working on the Raptor engine. And so I think that's just, I don't know. I feel like this has happened a few times where Musk gets all crazy about something, and then it kind of dies down, and they go back to business as usual.
This does make me feel better about when I am vacillating back and forth between two options. And it's like, no, apparently even Elon Musk, who has accomplished all these unbelievable things, will like for 2 weeks say, we're building a whole different engine. And then, oh, wait, actually, we're going back to the old one. Which and they're still on Raptors. So clearly they never went back to, like, they're on Raptor 3 now. So
1337 has been permanently on hold, I guess. So the next chapter was about a birth of a new type of organism.
Birth of a dancing human in a robot suit, right? The initial like Optimus announcement.
Exactly. So this is 2021. And he has this comment. He says robots will be bigger than self-driving, which I want to go on record and say that I completely agree with this. I think robots will be a huge industry. Like right now people buy houses and then cars, and those are like the most expensive purchases. I think robots are going to be right up there. And every single household is going to have a robot.
Called this out like years ago.
Trillion years ago.
Yeah, like iRobot was in like 2005, or I don't know. It feels like maybe that's too early, but like,
well, and isn't that based off like some Asimov thing from like 1960?
Although, I'm pretty sure I read iRobot, and I don't remember it being like, I remember it not bearing a tremendous amount of resemblance to the plot of, like, don't get me wrong, there's a ton of very prescient stuff in iRobot the book, but I feel like they kind of, I don't know, they changed it quite a bit in the
Will Smith film.
In the Will Smith film, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. They did. They made it much more like this is
more of a big, an overarching plot than, because these were, I feel like it was like these series of like scenes that in the book, but they didn't bear any relation to one another but maybe I'm misremembering that. Sorry, I cut you off though.
No, that's okay. I actually don't remember the book very well. I read it when I was a kid, and I remember not loving the movie and feeling like it was kind of like sacrilegious because it just utterly altered the book in like crazy ways. But in any case,
one story I remember, and maybe we can cut this out, but one story I remember from the book was there was a robot on the spacecraft that was supposed to like keep this like laser pointed at some point on the Earth, and like it did a really good job of that. But then there were like humans and robots on this spacecraft. But then the robot started telling the humans that it was like, no, you don't understand. Your memories are invented. There's no such thing as Earth. There's no, like, you are created. You're like completely artificial. And so then the humans are like, wait a minute, like, no, the robot's definitely the artificial one, right? Like, we're pretty sure that.
Dude.
And it
I
had
think
this
this
like
is gonna
religion of the laser, and it was like the laser must be kept precise, you know.
Dude, I love that kind of stuff. I feel like it's very, I don't know. Well, at risk of, well, okay, I'm not even going to go there. Sorry. I was about to bring up something that would have like really derailed us, but let's get back on
I don't
track.
know. Now I'm curious. Are we time box it?
No,
1
no.
minute.
I think we
Okay.
promised to never talk about politics, and this I was about to bring politics into the podcast, which I don't
All
want
right,
to do.
let's leave that for next. Time.
Yeah, next time. So Elon has this thing called AI Day, where he's gonna like talk about Optimus. He's gonna unveil Optimus to the world. This amazing thing, this robot. AI Day kind of turns out to be a total flop. He
Yeah.
wants this. He wants a model to like wear an Optimus suit and like tap dance or some nonsense. And
Yeah.
it just turns out not working out very well. They're doing all these various presentations, and there's this guy named Kovac, where Kovac is talking about all this sort of technical stuff that he's working on, and Musk is like boring, and Kovac just immediately quits on the spot, which I just absolutely love. And they do convince Kovac to not quit. They convince him to sort of trim down his PowerPoint presentation to not be so boring. But in any case, the event was, all the speakers were male. Literally the only female was the woman wearing the Optimus suit, which is just like so pathetic and like sad. And anyway, the event sucked.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I feel like that is everyone just like makes fun of Elon for that presentation, the like dancing robot presentation. But
Yeah. I mean, it's very dumb, but yeah. So then, should we move on? Should we discuss Neuralink?
let's talk about Neuralink. I mean, I think we could have a whole. I mean, I'm sure we're going to talk more about Neuralink, but like this, I think is very cool. This idea.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, and I did not know. I wrote this down. He based it off Neural Lace in the Culture series, the Ian Banks. I read Consider Phlebas like a long, long time ago, and I don't remember Neural Lace. So maybe, I mean, I know that this series is like 19 books, so maybe it comes up later. But anyway, I just thought that was cool that it was based off of Ian Banks' thing.
It's just unbelievable to me how much of this stuff has already been imagined in the old, and its art does become life, or life imitates art, I guess is the phrase.
Yeah.
He referenced this. Oh yeah, sorry, go for it. I didn't.
I was just gonna sing the praises of the Culture series. Like I do remember Consider Phlebas just having like, I don't know, like just such a density of ideas, and it was kind of amazing. And it's also like, it's about. I feel like most sci-fi far future things are about how there's like an erosion of humanity or whatever, and I feel like the Culture series was more about. It was like a post-scarcity society. They were like utterly advanced, but they still had all these problems. But it was like, it wasn't like, bad dystopian problems. It was sort of like, oh, these are the problems that an utterly advanced, post-scarcity utopian society actually would have. So it was just interesting. It was like a different lens that's not super familiar in sci-fi.
Yeah, there's so many of these books. I did read the first Foundation book, which I feel like shares some kind of like, or what is it, like in the cultural space as the Culture series, I guess.
Yeah, totally. Because I think that's another series that does a good job of like, here is a hyper advanced galactic civilization, and like here's what that might actually look like, which is just really interesting.
But I wanted to talk about this. He referenced this paper called "Man-Computer Symbiosis." Like, did you look that up?
I did not look that up. I did find that interesting.
So I found the paper. It's not long, but there was a quote very early on where it talks about where it says, "In the anticipated symbiotic partnership, men will set the goals." And this was written in 1960, just for everyone. So that's why there's men will set the goals, formulate the hypotheses, determine the criteria, and perform the evaluations. And it's so funny because that's what we're seeing happen today. Now it's like you just express a desire to an AI and it just like whirs into life. And like, I mean, and obviously it's like getting it wrong, but like you're just evaluating the AI and like you're giving it feedback and it's taking.
Isn't that like what RLHF is referring to? Like human feedback. What does RLHF stand for?
Yeah, reinforcement learning from human feedback.
Yeah. It sounds like that's exactly what it's referring to, is that loop from the 60s.
Yeah, because he talks about how like, yeah, we're gonna enhance ourselves, and I mean Neuralink is kind of the logical conclusion of this paper, but I guess this guy thought it was going to happen in by 1980. But.
Yeah, no, I mean this is amazing stuff, and I do feel like Musk really is on the forefront of a lot of these technologies that are either already becoming part of the fabric of our society, or will be part of the fabric of our society. And I do think Neuralink is one of those things that it might seem like sci-fi, but based on what we know of large language models and being able to understand like how the human brain works and what electrical signals from neurons actually mean and how we can interpret those, and use machine learning to like continue to understand what those signals mean, I do think this technology is going to be more and more compelling over the decades. It's going to be amazing to see how it turns out.
Yeah.
And it all started with Gertrude the pig.
Gertrude the pig, yeah. And they start on animals, but now, I mean, I guess I don't want to jump ahead, but it sounds like they're starting to do some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the chapter ends with the macaque.
Yeah.
They put Neuralink in a macaque, and is that how you say that? Macaque?
I've heard of macaque, but I could be could be wrong.
Macaque sounds less dirty, so I'll say macaque. But they take a macaque, which is like a monkey, and they put Neuralink in it, and this macaque is playing Pong, the video game, with its brain. So think about how crazy that is.
Sorry, I just want to say that I looked up macaque, and a picture of a macaque came up, and there was that little there's a little speaker, and I thought for sure they were just going to tell me how to pronounce macaque, because when you ever Google a word, it has a little pronunciation.
Yeah.
No, it played the sound of a macaque. So that was extremely distracting. And it was like long. It was probably for like 40 seconds. It was like it was not a pleasant experience, I'd say.
Really, I loved that. I mean, hearing you do that was probably going to be the highlight of my day.
I mean,
it's morning, so.
All right, should we get to the last chapter? Vision only.
Yeah, vision only. So this harkens back to something we've discussed many times, which is that Elon has this belief that humans drive with only their eyes. Therefore, autonomous driving should only need eyes, should only need cameras instead of other systems like radar, LiDAR, things like that. And so, yeah, he has all these, this chapter discusses all of these conflicts that he's having internally with his own engineers. There's this guy named Gillen where I guess early on they had these radar systems, and Musk was like, let's delete this radar system. And this engineer named Gillen left. I didn't really write anything else in my notes, so I don't know if you want to like buttress that with anything, but I just thought it was another chapter in him sort of alienating his own people and them leaving.
Yeah, I mean, this caused quite a bit of controversy. There was a guy who took out a full page ad in the New York Times being like, this is a major, Tesla is moving backwards with respect to every other player in the space. They're adding more of these technical capabilities, and for whatever reason. So this was a major, you know what? Actually, the full page ad said Tesla's self-driving system is the worst software ever sold by a Fortune 500 company. So them's fighting words.
Ow, that's rough. There's a lot of accidents with self-driving, and Musk immediately wants to blame the drivers.
Yes.
He tries to install this video system, and maybe he actually succeeded in doing this, where it basically films the driver so that he can prove that when these crashes are happening, the driver is, not paying attention.
Was behaving negligently, yeah.
Yeah, was behaving negligently. And so that's cool.
And there's a blurb about that in this book where the privacy people are like, what? You're gonna record the cabin? And they just, the way they worked around it is they have a pop-up that says if they use full self-driving, we will collect data in the event of a crash. And so it makes it sound, it's pretty slimy, because really what you should say is like including video, like in the because it will collect data. Like, of
what
course,
does that mean?
Video is data, but
it's so innocuous.
Your typical person is going to be like, oh, okay, they're probably going to like record the speed of the car or what have you.
Yeah. No, totally. And I'm sure, like, I own a Tesla. I'm sure I clicked that pop-up and now I'm infuriated.
And that's the thing. You write these disclaimers. No one reads them, but then you go into court and be like, look, this person had to read this disclaimer. So we're you can't sue us.
Yeah. It's so annoying. And then hilariously, the chapter closes with him basically giving in, like finally, and saying, okay, we'll use radar in some of our, more fancy cars. He's like, I guess finally convinced after like years of industry pushback and his own people leaving and, all this negative press.
Yeah. I mean, I think the way they frame it in the book, there's someone on the inside that's just like, all right, at least let us keep on giving it a shot. And so but he hasn't fully committed to putting it in the cars, but he's at least open to the idea that if they show him that it's better, that he'll use it.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it. Well, see you next time, John.
See you next time, Matt.